One of the goals was to make sure that every character had something very specific to do, so the only way to defeat Vecna would be if everyone contributed in some meaningful way.
Oh, there's the flamethrower!
It's the flamethrower moment.
Millie and Jamie are hardcore.
Millie's got such a great energy about her. It's on, the vibe is there, it's strong, she's locked in.
Literally jumping in the air to reach it.
It does look like you're jumping though.
Oh, I hated that. That was the end of a very long day.
This was shot at the quarry at location. Construction built a steel box, so nothing was going to collapse in or anything like that. We had our membranes that we made that are tearaway, very specific type silicone that's designed to rip when you start pushing through it.
And you guys pull it open for her, pull it open, more, rip it open.
It's stretchy, it's bouncy. The hardest part was like ripping it.
All right, here goes nothing.
The brothers found this beautiful canyon in New Mexico that we wanted to shoot at, but it was protected. We were able to send just some data collection people, and we photographed every inch of it. We scanned it. We had LiDAR drones fly over the top.
We took all of the inspiration that we gained from those scouting experiences in New Mexico, and we decided that we were going to translate that into our exterior abyss, which we built in this huge quarry out on the edge of the greater Atlanta area.
Don't listen to it, Henry. It is controlling you right now.
Very early on in the writer's room, we decided we wanted Vecna to have some sort of layer in this abyss. Then we started to talk about sort of a organic design, which led us to the idea of a fleshy tree. And then, you start to look at some reference photos, and then you talk to Michael Marr.
I knew I was gonna have a big role in like trying to figure out the look dev for all of this and, make a whole new creature. These are some of the first key art concepts.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Oh.
That's actually cool.
Oh my goodness, look at the blood, that looks so sick.
I need to get in and see this better. Wow.
The other thing we wanted to do is kind of bury the monster within. If we do our jobs right, it's like hidden as a monster. It's a tree. It's like some castle. It doesn't quite tip our hat yet. And I think that will be the fun part.
Oh my God.
The monster is unimaginably huge in scale, so it's very hard to wrap your head around just how big it is when it comes to framing for it.
We're lucky enough to be working with Weta Visual Effects in New Zealand, and they know creatures. They've really taken Michael's design and run with it.
Weta sent out an iPad that had an accurate 3D model of what the Mind Flayer would look like, and using augmented reality, we were able to place that creature in the real world through the iPad.
Wherever they pointed the iPad in space would be, roughly what we're seeing of this monster.
There it is.
You can see Finn. Look, I was kind of trying to get an understanding
how high
of
it is.
how big. And the bros were so excited about this month. Look, you can see it in Ross's
it's glee.
As these legs hit the ground, we had to time camera shakes to give vibrations.
Leg 2, leg 3.
That's sick. I remember doing that. They had like a dust rig. There would be like a pop sound. Like a blast of air and like a pile of dust that was settled right below it. That's where the legs are going to drop next to us. It felt cool. It felt like we were making like a war movie.
There was a lot of running. There's a lot of running on this like sand and rocks.
They just have these giant jeeps, essentially, with these cameras on, and you're just chasing after the jeep as fast as you can.
Lots of cardio. My legs were fried. Like absolutely so tight.
I remember we were like body to body.
And we
rolling.
grappled, and I wrapped my legs centrally around your waist, and then we rolled in the sand.
And rolled in the sand.
And
That's the closest we've ever gotten.
It was really cute.
Let's go! It's an art to doing stunts as well. Just kind of like talking to JJ, my stunt guy, just knowing our mannerisms, and they have to know how we run or how we move our head. So it's like, it's technical, it's an artistry to that.
It's pretty impressive. Look at us go. Look at us go.
Are we like jumping?
Hyping ourselves up or whatever? I don't know. We're just such little goofballs. You never can tell.
Oh, there's the flamethrower.
There's the flamethrower moment.
Oh, this was hilarious. Obviously, it's not a real flamethrower. At least with a gun, you can kind of like cheat recoil and you have a trigger and you kind of get the idea of what that would be like. But a flamethrower really, when it's on, it doesn't do anything, right? It's just this. So being like, ah!
One of the goals was to make sure that every character had something very specific to do. So the only way to defeat Vecna, the only way to defeat the Mind Flayer would be if everyone contributed in some meaningful way. We had Mike and Lucas working together and Dustin and Steve working together, use the weapons designed by Eddie for his final battle. It felt like kind of a cool symbolic moment.
I think the biggest goals were to make it feel realistic. So it was just about what it feels like a kid would do to battle a monster. If you've got this, I've got this. Do you have that? Okay, good, I have this. That is like a riveted knee pad that Mike would have maybe made and stitched up. Yeah, that's a little epaulette that kind of went on Lucas just to help make him feel a little bit more powerful. Nancy's got her pushed up sleeves. She's got her vest from season 4, which has room for shotgun shells, 'cause she's got her guns. She's got her gloves again, because she's a badass.
Oh yeah, she looks so badass. Nancy's main inspiration for the season was Sigourney Weaver in Alien, and it took this long to get there. Shooting the scene was like the pinnacle for me.
It was a lot to try to maneuver with, but it also, I think, helped with the exhaustion and the physicality of things.
This is one of my favorite sets from the season, just from a purely aesthetic perspective, and that is a testament to our sculpture department. Alex Sherrod and his team cranked this out in 3 weeks, this set. I mean, it was just an unbelievable undertaking. So much credit to the Duffer Brothers for really caring about having a real physical set whenever possible.
This is for Eddie, you son of a bitch! Eddie!
That was our first test, and we just did that with water. Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh, jeez Louise. It was very fun. It was quite the challenge. Look at that, literally jumping in the air.
It does look like you're jumping though. I was like, wow, he's getting up there.
I wasn't dodging for shit. I wanted to be drenched.
Yeah.
Make the best shot ever. Oh my God. Look at the joy on my face.
You're like,
of getting, yeah.
Did it smell?
Bucket full of sludge dropped all over my face.
What was it?
It's a Methicil base. It's like a food additive. You know, it's in shakes and stuff like that. The grosser, the better.
It's so heavy. Look at that. All the sludge would like catch into my ghillie suit, so that it felt like I was just carrying a bucket of sludge with me.
Yeah, you had it really slimy and nasty.
Regardless of being covered in goop and dirt and sweat and blood, I think they all had so much fun on set. I was just so impressed with everybody. It all came together to make one really cool scene.
Pain tree, there were a lot of discussions about how large should it be. We always want things big. Ross and I, we knew there was going to be a battle between Eleven and Vecna, and we knew it needed to hold 12 kids.
The Mind Flayer was like, you know, very specifically designed around everything that Vecna embodies. There's like the viney upside down stuff. There's all sorts of sharp teeth and claw-like protrusions. And then these columns where the kids are embedded are basically like rib structures, and everything sort of points to Vecna.
The physical construction process was 5+ months. The sculptural base of it all is a foam that Alex and his team got in and just did such a breathtaking job of bringing Michael's incredible drawings to life. Each of those columns is 20+ feet tall, and it's got an internal structure of steel. The dimension in the surfaces is so real. There's such an organic quality to it.
So, you truly do want to die.
Eleven versus Vecna was a huge sequence. There is a whole different approach in it when someone has the superpowers. It made the wires a lot more fun just because we could kind of go way beyond what is natural.
I think it was really important to capture the culmination of this history that Vecna and Eleven have. Hito created this beautiful wire sequence between the two of them where it's just the push and the pull and the back and the forth.
Jamie was a rock star here. He had to ride those wires all day. He'd come in and go, hello, everyone. Yes, let's get the harness on. I love it.
Millie and Jamie are hardcore.
One of the hardest things Millie did is when she tries to leap over Vecna, she has to catch herself and sort of flip around and act caught.
And I do have to give a special shout out to Cece, who is Millie's stunt double. She did the most incredible stunts I've ever seen in the history of the show.
You have 11 fighting Vecna, but then also this whole thing is moving, so this thing has to like kind of shake and dance around them while they're doing it.
We had 300 vortexes hung so that as this thing moves, you have this soft but directional light that sort of dances around the set and creates moving shadows.
As the Mind Flayer is moving, you know, obviously we have to respond to that. And I remember when somebody described it to me, I was like, oh great, so like the stage is gonna move. And they're like, no, you're just gonna have to act it. I was like, what? This is terrifying. So we literally kind of stood there and then it starts to move, so then we have to throw ourselves against one side. And it did feel like at times we were back on like a 1970s version of like Star Trek. Felt like Shatner, you know? I had to sway around.
In those moments, the camera has to move at the same time with the actors, and it also has to Dutch because the beast is also moving, and so the world shifts on this axis, not just this way. You're grabbing the wheels and you're just shaking the thing to get the camera to move in a way that makes it feel like you're almost in an earthquake.
Millie especially was so successful in selling that action that there's a take where she throws herself into that pillar that's beside her and a look of pain just comes across her face. Matt Duffer, our director, comes over the God mic to ask if she's okay, and she immediately breaks into a smile because she fooled us because she was acting.
I was acting! I got you! Yes! That was so great! You heard that in his voice.
This is the big piece for 11, taking Vecna out.
The biggest challenge was giving Will a big moment because we've been building this all year where he's able to really hurt Vecna, which is why we have Will coming back with his powers and really saving both 11 and giving her the moment that she's able to really do the knockout blow.
He ends up taking the vine, wrapping it around his arm, but then the Duffer's like, hey, let's just take his arm off completely. Which was a really cool moment because the two of them are kind of working together when they're not even together.
The scene ends with Vecna being impaled on one of these big spikes, and that required Jamie to be rigged up to this spike that had the tip taken off that we added back in post, protruding from his chest.
He's got some blood shooting out of his mouth, which was another discussion we had was, what color is Vecna's blood? It's not red, it's not completely black, but it's a special maroon black.
I was always kind of curious how they were going to write that ending of who will really defeat Vecna, and I think it was so fitting and perfect that it was Joyce, and it's very like reminiscent of season 1 and very full circle.
Please come back to me.
If anyone has been pained by this monster, it was Joyce. It was really satisfying to see Winona do that and to wield that axe one more time and to actually, you know, properly use it. She's swung it around before, threatened monsters with it, but she's never actually been able to use it.
I love Jamie so much.
I remember when he was in that position and we were talking about bands, and he's like the most lovely person.
Yeah, it's actually
even
the craziest
in that,
thing.
like when you can't see him, but you hear him. I came in that day just for that. You can't rehearse a scene like that. You just have to sort of save it for the take. I think I only did it
I mean, you only needed to
twice.
do it like once. It was kind of perfect.
As I'm coughing up this bile, yes, I'm coughing, but the feeling that I want to convey and the words that I'm trying to get out are just, please don't. It was one of the more human moments of playing Vecna.
We've been very careful about not using the F word in the show. We knew we wanted to save it for a very specific moment. Early on, we knew it had to be right before Vecna is killed. And then we gave it to Winona. It felt just right.
You fucked with the wrong family.
I love watching Winona just like let it all out and like scream, and yeah, she kills that. I'm so grateful that I get to have her as my on-set mother, because she genuinely made all the scenes so easy and so comfortable.
I love you.
Love you.
How's that? Can you still see everything?
Oh yeah, we'll do the chart.
Hell yeah.
I will say that I may be the only person that cries when Vecna dies because it's my baby, you know? But what a fitting end for this guy.
Jamie is an amazing person to put makeup on, and I'll miss those times. We would laugh at the most ridiculous things in that room.
We've got so many great memories, and I think we just feel very lucky, very fortunate to have been part of the design of an iconic character. It was something really, really special that we all accomplished. It's sad that that chapter's finally over now.
This is the all ending.
Having that connection with Mills is always going to be like the lasting memory that I have from the show. And to be with such a beautiful, like shining, loving person is the thing I'll be most grateful for.
The entire action finale was very, very demanding, but all these people were incredibly talented. Having worked together for 9 years, everybody was able to problem solve very rapidly and get this done.
To us, ending the Pain Tree battle and ending the Abyss battle allowed us to then just really come together as a group and go, okay, here we go. We're in our final weeks now.
We brought something into the world with Stranger Things, and now all these years later, to be bringing these experiences to a close, it's very bittersweet because that experience of directing these actors, that's done. But the thing we made, that's forever.
Even just looking back at these moments, it was so recent, it feels like, oh, we're still doing it. I think 5-10 years from now, it's gonna be like, whoa, we're really not doing the show anymore. I valued all these moments.
I feel it's like the gang's Everest, you know what I mean? It was probably the most difficult stretch that we had all year, but very fun.
Very fun, indeed.